think Eddie smoothed over any rift that he had with Shelley Finkel. Lou DiBella ain't there no more. Leonard Ellerby is an issue. Probably more than what us, the average observer, would believe. Leonard Ellerby has considerable pull at the PBC, and he could determine if Eddie can do any serious business over there or not. And it's something Eddie needs to look at, his relationship with the PBC, because TNT, formerly known as BT, they've secured the British TV rights for Crawford and Spence. That's a massive fight to have. It's going to be on pay-per-view. You're going to be charged like 4 or 5 in the morning. I don't know what they're going to price it at. I'm not sure if it went to a bidding war in Britain between Ben, Eddie and Frank, but it's the type of fight that Ben would want to get as well. That's a massive fight to get for BT. Massive fight. Biggest fight of the year. Now, I don't expect Eddie's going to dwell on it too long, but he'll be gutted that TNT got that and it's not coming over to DAZN. He'll be gutted, and DAZN will be gutted too. They were going to finance that fight. £19.95 will be the cost. 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. That's a reasonable price, you know, considering that AJ versus Dylan is £26, but it's more in a prime time location than Spence and Crawford. At least, you know, like the PBC have been putting a lot of their broadcasts in the UK on this Fight Network and these other unrecognizable streaming apps. You know, at least they've gave it to a credible outlet out here. Oscar De La Hoya. For all of you who hate me and love me, I'm never going down. I've been to hell and back 9 times and I survived. Life is great and I finally feel at peace. Thank you. To me. Oscar doesn't sound like a man at peace. You know, Canelo has left the Golden Boy situation years back and he still can't stop throwing shots at Canelo. The Ryan Garcia situation, it looks like Ryan is going to clear out of there. And I bet you any money, it's 2023. In 2025, Oscar is still going to be talking negatively about Ryan Garcia. That's not at peace. Being at peace means you let certain things go. You can't let everything go that easy. But all that carryover that he has for the fighters that leave him, not healthy. And to me, he wanted to put a front for the world to see that I'm untouchable. But I don't believe that's the case. You know, like in terms of his business, the last card was a huge setback. He was relying on the kid, Virgil Ortiz, to turn up and show out. He couldn't even get to the ring with his blood disorder diagnosis. And that came after he was bragging about this is going to be a fight of the year candidate and told Eddie to go back to the UK and watch the fight of the year between Ortiz and Stanionis. And then it didn't get to the ring. Huge come down. And Oscar's a man who takes class A stimulants. It's hard for people like that to take setbacks if you need that to regulate and medicate your mental state. See, I'm just rapping that off the top of the head when I'm talking. Nah, it was whack really. The fact that he believes there's people out there who want him to go down. For all you who hate me and love me, who are these people that want you to go down? You think Eddie Hearn came out of Essex and said, I'm going to pull Oscar De La Hoya down? It's all in Oscar's mind. And them substances are messing him up. I'm just being real. Oscar needs to take accountability for why certain things in his life may not turn out the way he wants. But D-Style replied to this post and he said, nobody hates you. We just want to see the fights. We just want to see the fights. You're on the zone and like in a roundabout way, paraphrasing, like I'm not saying verbatim, you practically said you're not going to work with Matchroom. You know, you don't want to make the Belanga Mungia fight, a fight that a lot of people wanted to see. And then you're talking about people hating on you. Who's hating really? But look, the holding grudges thing, I know all about that. And maybe it might be too late for me to change on that, but it's not healthy. It's one of my more unhealthy habits. It's not healthy. And if you can do something about it, do it. That's what I'd advise anyone. I reported on this story the other day, thinking that Jai Opetaia and Tasman Fighters co-signed their own deal with DAZN, but I got this wrong. It's a co-promotional deal with Matchroom. Is that just coincidental? They struck that deal as Ben Shalom was trying to make the Richard Riakporhe Jai Opetaia fight, and they were hoping to take it to Sky, hoping to keep it in the UK. Now, Riakporhe is actually mandated to fight Opetaia. Is Ben going to pull Riakporhe out of the fight? Because not only is he going to have to travel to Australia, it's going to end up on Eddie's lap. Now, apparently, Jai was supposed to fight Matthias Masternak, but negotiations fell flat. Looks like Ben is searching for alternatives, you know, like Eddie's everywhere right now. He's ubiquitous. So Chris Billion Smith is talking about a Richard Riakporhe rematch. Riakporhe beat him a few years back on Matchroom and Sky. And Billion Smith is also talking about moving up to heavyweight and getting a possible unexpected title shot against Alexander Usyk. I'm sure Filip Bogovic and the winner out of Zhang and Joyce will have something to say about that. Quick turnaround from Jared Anderson. He's going to take a fight against Andrei Rudenko on August the 28th, ESPN. Rudenko, he's won 4 out of his last 8. And this is a good move by Team Anderson and Top Rank. They don't want the Charles Martin fight to linger too long in his head. Yeah, it was obviously a learning experience, and quite a hard learning experience, because I see him being cradled up by his mum after, and he won the fight. The kid is obviously struggling with the demands of being a professional heavyweight boxer. We saw that with Roy Jones, the meltdown. So don't let that fight linger too long in his head. It's just one fight. And I think a lot of media lose sight that you can only fight on a fight-by-fight basis. If you have one bad fight, there's nothing you can do about it. And it's almost like we pigeonhole fighters their whole career into one fight. You know, 1 minute he performs well. Oh, he's going to be the next Larry Holmes. And then the next fight, oh, he's going to be the next Michael Grant. How does that work? And obviously, you know, they want to get his confidence back on track, get a knockout win after the Charles Martin fight, which didn't go quite to plan, even though he won. Last year, they were talking about they're going to move him up to fight top 10 contenders, but they have to draw brakes on that. It's not as easy as some think it is. This has war written all over it. It's a game changer. Here we are in a super fight. Tyson is at his best when he is breaking new boundaries, and this event is one of a kind. History will be made in Riddia. Frank is going into P.T. Barnum territory with this one. Can he pull it off? When I say can he pull it off, I mean he's going to make a lot of money from it, and so is Fury and everyone else attached to the fight, NGANNOU, etc., etc. But will the spectators, potential spectators and the media, be as accommodating as Frank would like them to? I don't know many people who you could convince that Fury is not running from Usyk with the money that's on the table for a Usyk fight. You know, if Frank is going to sell this on the basis of look how clever I am, I made this big lucrative fight, it's going to be a hard stretch, because, you know, boxing is entertainment, UFC is entertainment. People use their disposable income to be entertained, and whether they buy a ticket, a subscription, pay-per-view, or just whatever means they have of viewing the content, they want to be entertained. And like, we rely on people like Frank to deliver top quality boxing matches, but yet he's opted to put Tyson Fury in a boxing fight. It's not even a hybrid fight, you know, like, it's an exhibition, right? So, like, I mean, didn't Fury say they could box but use MMA gloves? I don't think they're doing that. I think they're going to go to 10-ounce gloves. Fury would probably insist on a 24-inch ring too. Like, what's the point, really? What's the curiosity if you're not going to take no chances at all by implementing some MMA rules as well? It's an exhibition. No UFC rules. All seems to be swaying towards Queensberry rules. It's an exhibition. Yo, listen, they better probe Frank Warren about what doping protocol they're going to use. Exhibition or not, Fury is still an active pro. WBC heavyweight champion. Why have they not opted to make this a professional boxing fight under the auspice of the British Boxing Board of Control? Why not? if they're going to be working under Queensberry rules. Just make it a professional fight. You know, you're comparing it to the Mayweather-McGregor fight. That was a professional fight. McGregor had to go get a professional fight. Why are you not making this a professional fight? Because you can get away with a lot more in exhibitions. How do we know that Fury and fucking Ngannou ain't going to be juiced up to their gills? You don't have to do no drug testing in exhibitions. So I hope the media, Gareth Davis and Simon Sy, are keeping an eye on all this shit here. Because we know other promoters wouldn't get away with squat that they let Frank get away with. The issue is this. AJ's growth from amateur to pro is broken down into two components. His boxing record, his resume, his accomplishments, and his financial success. It left Frank in a bit of a game of catch-up. So Tyson Fury came back to the game in 2018, and if we go back to 2015, you can go and watch videos of me post-fight Vladimir Klitschko when everybody was criticizing Tyson Fury's performance. I don't think you'll find one negative critique of his performance, because I don't believe I'm a Tyson Fury hater. I believe I deal with the facts. You beat the 10-year reigning champ, but, you know, it all fell apart for reasons that are out there in the public domain. And playing catch-up to Eddie Hearn and Tyson playing catch-up to Anthony Joshua didn't have them in a good place for a little while. But, you know, you've got to give credit for coming back from off the couch when he was in no shape to fight, beating Wilder arguably 3 times, getting into stadium fights. You've got to give the man a whole load of credit. A whole load. But that obsession with playing catch-up with Eddie and Joshua has turned into something sick now. Oh, look, AJ done 90,000, we done 94,000. Now, we're going to do a more lucrative fight than Eddie can do. But nobody wants to fight. That's the thing, like, when Anthony Joshua was on the ascension doing stadium fights, it was mainly unifications and mandatories. He wasn't cheating the game, and, you know, a lot of people think they're being cheated with this Francis Ngannou fight when the Usyk fight's out there. And Frank's not seeing this. He just sees it like, oh, look, I'm making money. Look at that, Eddie. I'm making money, Eddie, look. That's not cutting it with the casual or hardcore boxing fan right now. It's just not cutting it. And public opinion, like ducking Usyk, fighting Ngannou, Queensberry rules, not even coming out of his comfort zone and incorporating more MMA rules so it would be an even fight. You know, when Ali fought the wrestler, Ioka, he didn't fight Queensberry rules. He was allowed to box, and the guy was kicking him in his shins. If you saw the welts on Ali's legs after the Ioka fight. But Fury wants to be compared to Ali without the risk taker that Ali was. And it's a ludicrous comparison at this stage here. He's a fraud. And there's no more to really say about Tyson Fury. But as for Frank Warren, if he thinks people are really impressed that he's some great businessman who can finesse all his money out of the Saudis and stuff like that, you got money already. You're rich already. Tyson Fury's rich already. You know, this is the entertainment service industry, and like the service isn't good right now. Hey, look, making money, yeah, great. But it's the events people talk about. When you go back to documentaries on the Rumble in the Jungle, the Thriller in Manila, you know, even Conor versus Floyd, done a lot of pay-per-views, but there may have been some fights that other people wanted to see Floyd take part in, fair enough. But he was done, as far as he was concerned. So this was a great time to rob the bank, as he would call it. But this just ain't the time for it right now, with Tyson Fury. You know, no disrespect, I heard Hatman Strikes Back used the same example that I was using and almost word for word said what I said with the Ioka and Ali fight. That Ali didn't take that fight until he was an established, undisputed champion for years and years and years. So nobody was saying, oh, you can't take the Ioka fight, you need to fight this guy. No, because he fought all of them. By the time he took the Ioka fight, Foreman was beaten, Frazier was beaten, Liston was beaten, Patterson was beaten, Jerry Quarry, he was beaten, Ken Norton. Ron Lyle was beaten, and he was defending his belt 3 or 4 times a year. 2 at a minimum. And what you may not know is like he was doing a whole load of exhibitions as well. There was one against the big American footballer. He was tough, boy. He was strong and tough. He had one with Tommy Hearns when he was old, Michael Dokes, the British champion, John L. Gardner, and loads more. He had loads of exhibitions. Loads. Most of them playful affairs, but some, you know, were pretty brisk.
Hey, come here. Oh, y'all want some psychedelics? Y'all want psychedelics?
Well, that's quite damning evidence right there. I could be mistaken, but I believe this is a recent video. And if Mauricio Sulaiman is getting hold of videos of a current WBC champion asking for psychedelics and asking other people if they want psychedelics, the least you could do is get him to check in to a rehab center, or the belt has to be taken, or just strip the brother now, because it's beyond a joke. Why the reluctance to strip JERMALL? I don't want to see JERMALL fail, but tell him, look, we got to put the belt back in circulation. Clean yourself up, and we'll give you a straight shot at Adames or whoever has it by the time you're ready to fight again. It's frustrating when you see someone who was so talented at what they did, and you can say, oh, I don't rate him. No. The man is a 2-weight world champion and has got a bucket load of knockouts on his resume. He might not be Marvin Hagler, he might not be blah, 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 but the man was a talented, dedicated fighter, whether you like it or not. Reduced to this, it's frustrating. Get clean for your kids. Get clean for yourself. Even if you don't return to boxing, get clean, bruh. 30-day deadline is up. It came and went. No deal reached. So the July the 24th purse bid is being set for Rolando Romero to defend against OHARA Davis. A minimum bid will be accepted of $110,000. Now, on the paperwork, Romero is represented by Mayweather Promotions, though TGB Promotions was the promoter of record for the corrupt, let's say, stoppage of Ismael Barroso for Rolly to get the WBA 140-pound title. OHARA Davis, he is with Lee Eaton's Let's Go Management Company. Will anyone come in from the UK and maybe put a bid in for OHARA Davis? I don't think Lee Eaton has got that kind of financial push to go anything over 110,000, although he might have some business partners who put in. Although more than likely TGB will keep control of it and OHARA will have to travel. Apparently OHARA stopped Romero in sparring some years ago. A lot of people fancy OHARA Davis's chances, and I think OHARA could beat him. But in America, after watching that Rolly Barroso fight, Team OHARA Davis are going to need eyes in their back of their head, because, you know, the corruption is real. Corruption is real. Andy CRUZ defected from Cuba and signed to Matchroom, makes his professional debut, and like, they are really looking to fast track Andy. I believe if they can get anyone in the top 5 or a world champion in the next fight, they'll take it. I think it's that kind of Lomachenko acceleration they're looking at here. Obviously a top amateur who beat Keyshawn Davis 5 times, I believe, as an amateur. Andy's 27 years of age, reigning Olympic champion, 3 gold medals, I am a world champion, 2 gold medals, Pan American Games. You get the levels now. I'll be looking forward to that on that card as well. It's a very good card in Detroit on Saturday. On DAZN. And his opponent, Juan Carlos Burgos, is no joke. You know, this is a very tough debut, as tough as they come actually. Burgos has fought the likes of Mikey Garcia, Devin Haney, Roman Martinez, challenged a couple of times for world titles. And this is Andy CRUZ's debut. Burgos has 35 wins, 21 inside the distance, 7 losses, 3 draws, and he's never been stopped. Very durable, very tough. And it's going to be interesting to see how Andy copes with such an experienced pro on his pro debut. Burgos is 35, Andy is 27. Andy's training with Bozy Ennis, Boots' dad, in Philly at the Boys Dungeon, Next Champ Boxing Gym. And Bozy, I heard Bozy talking, and Bozy is not in the same rush that Eddie Hearn seems to be in to throw Andy CRUZ in with Shakur, Tank, or even Keyshawn, who have a lot more pro experience, or Devin and any of them guys. But he does believe he could become one of the best fighters in the game. He does believe that. He said he picks up stuff quick and he's turning his punches over. Power is starting to develop. So Saturday, let's see what he looks like on Saturday. We go from there.